Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله الأمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And I do apologize for half an hour delay in broadcasting this program, but apparently we were facing some sort of technical problems. I was here for the past half an hour waiting for it to be fixed, but alhamdulillah, may Allah Azza wa Jal bless all those who send us the questions and ask us for dua. I pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that He grant them what they want and more than what they ask for. And I pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that we may be blessed in the coming half an hour so that we can answer as many questions as possible. Brother Arshad Abu Bakr sent a message on one of the platforms, and he is asking about the regulation that is providing the Hajj service for women who are 60 years of age and above to come without a mahram. So he's asking, is this permissible in Islam? And the answer is no. The majority of scholars forbid a woman from traveling without a mahram regardless of her age, as long as she is above 7 years of age or more, and she is a woman, she cannot travel without a mahram. This is the verdict of the majority of scholars of thought, with the exception of Al-Imam al-Bukhari, Imam al-Shafi'i, Muhammad ibn Idris, may Allah have mercy on his soul. He said that it is permissible for a woman, if she is with a trustworthy companion or a group of other women, it is only permissible for her to travel for Hajj. And he only restricted and limited this for Hajj. And the majority of scholars differed with him because of the hadith that we always repeat on and on, when the Prophet ﷺ was addressing his companions and said that it is not lawful for a woman who believes in Allah and the Day of Judgment to travel without a mahram. And one of the companions stood up and said, "O Prophet of Allah, my name came up in an expedition going to this particular area, but my wife has gone for Hajj. So I'm in a dilemma. Should I go for jihad?" Oh, and you've just stated that it's not permissible for my wife to travel on her own for Hajj. Now, the Prophet said, ﷺ, go and catch up with your wife, meaning go and accompany her because you are her mahram. The Prophet ﷺ did not ask the man the normal questions that people usually would ask. He did not say, is your wife alone, or is she with a trustworthy companionship? Is she with a group with trusted women? He did not ask him ﷺ. He did not ask him whether she was young or old, and he ﷺ did not ask him if she is beautiful or ugly. He immediately answered, he said, no, go and catch up with your wife. Sister Salma from Dubai.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair.
Sheikh, I have 3 questions.
Okay.
2 of them are regarding about praying sunnah.
Raise your volume a little bit.
Yeah, 2 of them are regarding about praying sunnah. I would like to know about sunnah. During prayer al-Dhuhr.
Okay.
Before and after prayer, I have been understand we have to pray 4 rak'ah sunnah. I would like to know if it's 2 unity or it's just 4 like a fard.
Okay. Raise the volume a little bit.
I would like to know. Yes, please.
I cannot hear.
I would like to know.
Okay.
Al-Zuhr.
Okay, this the first question. I understand you. Second question.
Yeah, about Sunnat al-Maghrib.
Okay.
I would like to know it is before Fard or after Fard.
Okay. Third question.
And I want your advice about my friend. It's quite difficult. I will try to do my best to explain exactly. Our sister, she's a converted Muslim. She has for her previous marriage 3 children.
Okay.
She was living alone and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala support her. She doesn't work. And one brother, Muslim, he has a wife and has a family. And he was needed some paper to immigrate in the Europe. The lady, she gets married by the government law to help him at the beginning. After this, he requests his rights as a husband, but they didn't go to the Islamic law to get married.
So they married only civil marriage.
Only in the government paper to help him here.
Okay.
And the problem now what it is. In fact, he doesn't help her financially. His family doesn't know about what is going on. And also the people who support the children and the lady, nobody knows what is going on. And this helping of the documents is going on and going on and going on. And he is not present more than 1 month, maybe per year with her. And she feels guilty and she wants to end this relationship. Or it is not haram, she doesn't know she's appointed.
Did she?
And
They did not get.
Islamic.
They did not get married Islamically.
And as a paper, no. But in fact, they live 1 month per year together.
Yes, but did they make their marriage contract Islamically in an Islamic center?
No. Only by government for the non-Muslim country.
Okay, I got your question. I will answer you, inshallah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. You too. Abdullah from Nigeria? Or Abdullah from Nigeria?
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah wa barakatuh. Yes, Abdullah. What can I do for you?
Naam, Sheikh. Good evening. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for what you are doing.
Ameen.
I
And you
have 3
too.
questions, Sheikh.
Okay.
The first one is regarding a supplication. I had a learned person saying something like, "Inni as'aluka min nuhurihim wa a'udhu bika min shururihim." That is one of the supplications of the Prophet of Allah. So I would like to know the essence of this supplication.
Okay.
And the second question is regarding the prayers in the evening and the morning. Dua al-sabah wal-masa. Does the person have to do all of them, or will he be choosing some now, tomorrow he do some? And regarding also the supplication after the tashahhud before the taslim.
Okay.
The person has to do everything, all of them that he knows, or maybe he'll be choosing from one and the other.
Okay.
And the third question is regarding Umrah. When a person takes his ihram from the miqat, does that person have to be doing talbiyah loudly, like labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika lak, labbaik, like in Hajj, or does he not have to do it that way? These are my 3 questions.
Okay. I will answer.
Thank you very much.
You too. Jazakallah khair. Okay, Asma from Nigeria. Yes, Sister Asma.
Assalamualaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa
Sheikh, I have 3 questions.
Okay, mashallah, you're the 3rd person with 3 questions.
Okay, my first question is it allowed for a Muslim lady to take pills that's to stop her menstrual period, or her menstrual period to come in first before she goes for Umrah? For her, in as much as for her to perform Umrah.
Okay, second question.
And secondly, is it allowed for a Muslim lady to advertise for a company, even if she's all covered?
How is she going to advertise?
That's advertise.
How is she going to advertise? To appear on a cover of a magazine?
Yeah, even if she's covered.
Yeah, and to take her pictures, or to go to offices and promote this company?
To take pictures or advert on TV.
Okay.
Yes. Then thirdly,
Okay.
the third question is it also allowed for a Muslim lady to work in a telecommunication company, that is in a customer care center?
Okay, I'll answer your question, inshallah. Okay, let's answer Salma's question from Dubai. Question number 1, Sunnatul Dhuhr. Dhuhr, voluntary prayer. How is it prayed? We know that the hadith of Habiba, may Allah be pleased with her, she told us that the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever prays 12 rak'ahs in the day and the night, Allah would build him a house in paradise. These 12 rak'ahs are 2 before Fajr, 4 before Dhuhr, 2 after Dhuhr, 2 after Maghrib, 2 after Isha. These are 12. So she's asking about the 4 rak'ahs before Dhuhr. Is it to be prayed continuous like Dhuhr itself, or should it be split into 2 rak'ahs with salam and then 2 rak'ahs with salam? It's an issue of dispute among the scholars. The majority of scholars say that it should be prayed 2 by 2. And Imam Abu Hanifa and other great scholars say that there is a hadith supporting that it should be prayed 4, and Shaykh Al-Albani authenticated this, so it can be both here and there. However, if you pray 2 with salam and then 2 with salam, no one would tell you that you have done something that is wrong. But if you did the opposite, if you prayed 4 with 1 salam, some of the scholars, as we've stated before, that the majority would say that this is not in accordance to the sunnah. She's asking about Sunnatul Maghrib. When is it to be prayed? Before the 3 rak'ahs of Maghrib or after the 3 rak'ahs of Maghrib? As for the 12 rak'ahs, which is the sunnah that the Prophet used to all the time observe and maintain to pray, the sunnah is to be prayed 2 rak'ahs after Maghrib. However, before Maghrib there is a sunnah, but it is not highly recommended to be prayed. There are 2 rak'ahs between the adhan and the iqamah of Maghrib. And these are not highly recommended, but if you pray them, then it's good, because the Prophet ﷺ said, pray 2 rak'ahs before Maghrib, pray 2 rak'ahs before Maghrib, pray 2 rak'ahs before Maghrib, if you wish. While the other 2 rak'ahs, the Prophet used to maintain all the time, ﷺ. The third question for Sister Salma was about this woman, revert, who has 3 children, and she married someone to help him with his documents. I think he's migrating to her country, and they had a civil marriage. And now the man does not show except once or twice a year, and the process of the papers is ongoing, and she's asking about her status. First of all, she's not married. And if she slept with that man, then she has committed an act of adultery. Because the marriage in Islam has pillars and has conditions. And having a civil marriage, this is not an Islamic marriage. An Islamic marriage is when the guardian of the woman says, I give you my daughter, I give you my sister in marriage, and the man proposing says, I accept, and this is in the presence of at least 2 men, or in a group of the presence of a group of men, Muslim men. Then the marriage is correct and the contract is valid. Otherwise, they are not married, and at the moment, as we stand, this is not a marriage, though she is civilly married to him, but this is something to do with non-Islamic laws. In Islam, she is not married, and he has no rights, and she has no rights to him at all, and she has to dissolve this marriage if she can as soon as possible. Brother Abdullah from Nigeria says, 1. What is the meaning of the supplication? Allahumma inna a'udhu bika min shururihim wa adra'u bika fi nuhurihim. It's a supplication that the Prophet ﷺ was reported to say whenever the enemies are attacking him. And he says, Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from their evil and from their bad deeds. أعوذ بك من شرورهم وأدرأ بك في نحورهم, and I throw you, O Allah Azza wa Jal, in their throats, in their necks, in the chests, meaning that you are my protection, and I am seeking your victory, and I am seeking your support in fighting them. So this is the supplication that he was asking about. He's asking about the prayers. I mean, I believe he's asking about the dhikr and the invocations one say in the morning and the evening. Should it be said all at once, or can one segregate it and say it? The most recommended thing to do is to say it all at once. After Fajr prayer and in the evening, whether you say it after Asr or say it after Maghrib, depending what you consider evening to be. And you say this so that Allah Azza wa Jal would protect you. It's like a shield. It protects you from jinn, it protects you from evil eye, it protects you from envy, and with the grace of Allah, it protects you from black magic. So if you keep on maintaining saying all these adhkar, it may take you like 10 to 15 minutes at most. But if you say it, then you are, inshallah, protected with the grace of Allah. His third question, or part of the second question is, likewise, after tashahhud, should I say all the supplications I want before offering salam? The answer is no, because this would take like 20 minutes. It's much longer than the prayer itself. You select what you want, and it should be within reason. So if you supplicate after the tashahhud and before the salam for 3 to 5 minutes, this is acceptable. But if you're leading the prayer with people, you should not prolong the prayer. The third question, he's saying that after wearing the ihram and entering in the state of ihram and having the intention of ihram, should I say the talbiyah that is said usually in Hajj, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika labbaik, inna alhamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika laka labbaik? And the answer is yes. The talbiyah is recommended, and it is a sign of showing your devotion and your complete sincerity to Allah Azza wa Jal, and spreading the word of Allah Azza wa Jal while doing that. Sister Asma from Nigeria, she has 3 questions. The first question is, what's the ruling on taking contraceptives or special pills that prevent the menses from coming on time? This is usually done by sisters when they want to make a umrah or go for Hajj, or when they want to fast the whole month of Ramadan. Sometimes they do it so that they cannot miss, they would not miss Arafah or would not miss Ashura. The ruling is, it is permissible. But the scholars say it is permissible with one condition, and that is, it would not affect your health. It would not be harmful for you. So if there are side effects, or if the physicians say that if you take this, you may face a stroke or something like that, in this case you cannot take it. But normally speaking, in normal conditions, if a woman takes it for a specific reason and purpose, it would not affect her health, and therefore it is permissible. Is it recommendable or not? I personally do not think that it is recommendable, because usually it would have a very bad effect on the regularity of her menses afterwards. So yes, she can go for Umrah and come back. But then she says that I've noticed that my period is different. It used to be a regular 6 or 7 days a month. Now it comes 3 days and stops. Then after 2 weeks it comes again, and so on. And this is a headache you don't want to have. She's asking the second question about advertising for companies. And she said that this kind of advertisement, if she's wearing the hijab and she shows up in a television and makes an advertisement for a company. First of all, if the company is a halal company that is not doing anything haram, producing halal products, not financing its activities with riba-based or interest-based loans, then advertising for such a company with the truth is permissible. Secondly, for her as a female to come on TV wearing the hijab, and I presume that she means that only unveiling her face, this is not permissible, because though exposing the face is an issue of dispute among scholars, I believe that the most authentic opinion is that she must cover her face. A woman must cover her face. But hypothetically speaking, even those who say that no, it is permissible to show the face for the women, they tell the men to lower their gaze. If a woman comes and she's only covering her hair and wearing what is so called nowadays hijab, this doesn't mean that it is permissible for everyone to look at her and talk to her and communicate with her and smile and exchange jokes. So men are instructed, they're ordered to lower their gaze. By her coming on TV, she is actually showing everyone that this is something you should be lowering your gaze to. And therefore, it is not permissible for her to come up on TV unless if she's all covered from head to toe, and I don't think anybody would want to advertise with such a woman. Thirdly, she's asking about calling customer care service in communication companies. If this is to be done by phone, and like most customer care, you just call and say, I have this problem with this number or with this service, and she's answering, there's no problem. The voice of a woman is not something that is awra, something to be hidden like her body. Her voice is okay for people, for men to listen to, but she must not be soft when she speaks to other men. She should be firm and serious. Some of the sisters, when they call, it's not appropriate. She goes, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. And she speaks in a tone of voice that would make the Sheikh, what is this? Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran that you should not speak softly so that those with illness in their hearts would not be tempted. So a woman, if she's speaking outside of her house or to someone who's not a mahram, even if he's a sheikh or if he's a salesman or if he's a policeman or if he is whoever, she has to be serious. She has to go straight to the point, not Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sheikh? How are the kids? How is work? How are you feeling? Fine. Your sound looks a little bit tired. What is this? An interview? Is an interrogation? A sister has to be serious. Assalamu alaikum. Sheikh, I have 3 questions. 1, 2, 3. Jazakallah khair. End of subject. But not to go into softening the voice. So, if the sister who's interested in working in call centers or in customer care centers, I'm talking about the communication bit. That is, people from outside calling in. Now, this is permissible providing that the work environment is also Islamic. So if it's all women in one room, this is okay. If they are segregated from men, this is okay. But to have them all sit in one room and they talk to each other and see each other and mix freely, this is not permissible as well. Okay, until we get your calls. Safwan, that was quick. Dubai, okay, Sister Halima from Nigeria. Okay, we go with Sister Safwan.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Shaykh, I want to ask you one question. This is regarding people who go through depression in life and they do not want to, they do not have anybody to talk to. And especially like the Christians, I know that they go to the ministers and they talk it out with them and they get it over with. And they have confessions and things like that. But what do people in Islam, even elderly people who are ill, for example, and there are women who are at home, they do not know who to turn to, who to talk to, who will give them the Islamic knowledge. If Ask Huda would be great, kind enough to start this kind of a program, especially for ladies, wherein in the daytime when the men are absent and they can talk about it, the problems. That would be really nice. And one more question, if you will permit me.
Yes.
Is regarding the Isha prayer for people who are elderly and sick. Is it all right if they pray 4 rakat fard and 2 rakat sunnat and then they pray 1 rakat witr only? Is this 7 rakat sufficient? That is my second question. Thank you, Jazakallah.
Oh, Jazak. Ahlan wa sahlan. Sister Halima from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam. Listen to me from the phone and turn down the volume of your TV, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I just have one question.
Okay.
The mosque close to our house is a big mosque.
Is a what?
It's a big mosque.
The house.
Big mosque.
What is a big? I did not understand your question.
Yeah, they indulge in bid'ah. They're not Ahlul Sunnah. They're
Okay.
bid'ah mosque.
Okay. What is with Juzu Amma?
Okay. Well, my husband attends the mosque for his 5 daily prayers together with my sons.
Okay.
He also contributes financially to the welfare of the mosque.
Okay. What is
concerned that the supplications they offer will affect the boys.
What is their bid'ah? What is their bid'ah, Sister Halima? What bid'ah do they do?
They offer this Salatul Fatihi, Salatul Rain, and stuff like that.
Okay. I will answer your question, inshallah. Okay. Safwan had a first question and then it went into a second question. So the first question or the first remark is that a lot of the elders, a lot of the women, a lot of those who don't have any connection with people of knowledge may have problems, may have depressions, may have things that they would like to seek the Islamic opinion on. So she's suggesting that Huda TV would devote a program in the morning to answer these problems and to give comfort to these people. And I second that opinion. If we find people who are willing to take the sponsorship, they sponsor such a program, I believe that the people, the brothers in Huda, would be more than happy to throw such a program. We do it. A lot of the brothers in Huda, mashallah, the scholars and the da'is, they do it on their free time. And for fi sabilillah, for the sake of Allah. Their phones are always open, their emails are always expecting emails, and they try their best to solve people's problems. But if there is someone who has the financial means to support, alhamdulillah, this is more than good enough. And I've been watching Huda's attempts to fundraise for the programs of for Ramadan, and I've seen Sheikh Yusuf Estes, Jazallah Khair, doing that with Brother Malik and with a lot of the brothers in fundraising. And I personally believe that if you want something that would benefit you in your grave, you should devote, you should donate. And if you are wealthy, wallahi, nothing will go with you in your grave except the 3 pieces of white shrouds that you will be shrouded in. Nothing, not even a ring. They will take it out of you. Not even your watch. So if you are wealthy, if you have enough, I urge you, for your sake, that you give endowments, that you build a business center or a big high-riser and make the whole revenue only for da'wah, for the sake of da'wah. And imagine the benefit you will get when you do this. Imagine if you are capable of supporting and sponsoring the broadcasting of Huda on Sky platform. Imagine by your money, you're able to get Huda in the house of every Muslim and non-Muslim in the whole of Europe by paying something that is not negligible, but everything has a price, and Jannah is expensive, and it needs the price for you to go for this. So I second your opinion, Sister Safwan. If there are people to sponsor such a program, I would be more than happy to be on it, and the brothers would be more than happy to attend these questions. And she's asking about the elders who find it difficult to pray Isha with what comes afterwards. And this is a misconception. Isha is Isha. You are obliged only to pray the 5 daily prayers, and that is it. If you want to compensate what's missing, you may pray voluntary prayers, which are the 12 rak'ahs we've mentioned earlier this program. 2 before Fajr, 4 before Dhuhr, 2 after Dhuhr, 2 after Maghrib and Isha. Now, a lot of the communities in India, in Bangladesh, in Pakistan, they think that it is 4 plus 2 plus 8 plus 2 plus 1. And this is what they usually write. It's like a formula. But this is not a must. What's must is that you pray for Rak'ah Isha. So if an elderly person says that, listen, I can only pray Isha, that's it. That is enough. But if you want to do the Sunnah, then you pray 2 Rak'ah Sunnah. Then it's time for night prayer. So whether you pray 11 rak'ahs, 9 rak'ahs, 7, 5, 3, or even 1, this is inshallah accepted, and it depends on your power. I believe we have few minutes, but I believe Halima is on the line. So let us take her question quickly and answer it and conclude inshallah. Yes, Sister Halima.
Okay, hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Okay, good evening. Sheikh.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sister.
Hello, yeah, Sheikh, I have one question.
Okay.
Okay, if a husband and a wife living in the same house with their children, okay, the husband provides everything for her, he feeds her, he clothes her and everything, but there's no any contact between them for more than 6, maybe 7 months.
Okay.
So what is the status of this marriage?
Okay, I'll answer the question inshallah.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sister. Okay. Wallahi, fi waqt, is there any time? Okay, alhamdulillah. Sister Kamil from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, I have 3 questions.
Okay.
Sheikh, my first question is, before entering the bathroom, we have to make a dua.
Okay.
We ask Allah's protection from the shaitan in the bathroom. My question to you is, does that mean that if I keep the bathroom door open, all of them are going to enter my house? I don't really understand the concept of having the shayateen in the bathroom all the time.
Okay.
Because sometimes if I'm washing clothes and the washing machine is in the bathroom and I need to keep the bathroom door open,
Second
and
question.
children keep running in and out. So what do I do so that they don't come into my house?
They would not ask you for permission. They will come. They don't even need the door to be open. But I will answer your question. Second question.
I really couldn't get your answer, Sheikh.
I didn't answer.
Answer all over again when I hang up.
Inshallah, I will.
My second question to you is, I wanted to know that is there a dress code for the women in front of women? I usually see here in marriages and women gatherings, most of the women are dressed up very scantily. And when I question them about it, they say that, well, this is just an all-woman gathering and we don't really need to do any kind of a hijab or anything like that. So I really want to understand that, is there a dress code for a woman in front of another woman?
Third question.
And my third question is related to the second question, in the sense that if I'm home and I have grown-up sons, and of course they are my mahram, but do I have to adopt a dress code, or can I be dressed the way I wish to?
Okay.
And I have one more question, Sheikh.
Okay.
I wanted to understand the difference between when I make a dua, is there a difference between beginning with Ya Rabbi or beginning with Allahumma?
Okay.
Does that make a big difference to the dua?
Okay.
And lastly, I would like to thank you and the entire team of Ask Huda,
Jazakumullah khair.
especially the producers and the sponsors of the show for making the show possible.
Ameen.
And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all in the best way possible ever.
Ameen.
Thank you,
Jazakumullah
Sheikh.
khair. Thank you, Subscribe. Ameen. Anima from Nigeria. Okay. Okay. We go back to Sister Halima's questions. She's saying that they live next to a masjid, but this masjid is full of innovation. And by the numbers of prayers she offered. Okay, we have Anemia from Nigeria again.
Wa
Alaikum assalam. Yes, sister.
It's Anina, not Anemia.
Anima. Okay. How are you?
Amina.
Amina. Okay, what's your question, sister?
My question is, when a woman gives birth to a baby and the baby dies, is it allowed to name the baby?
Repeat your question again, please.
When a woman delivers a baby and the baby is dead, is
Okay.
it allowed to name the baby before burying it, or?
Okay, so if the newly born, okay. We go back to Halima's question. She's saying that the masjid next to her house is a masjid of innovation. and her husband goes there, he financially supports them, he takes his son with them. So what is to be done? If the masjid, the kind of innovations they do nullifies Islam, then they are not allowed to go there. They're not allowed to go and pray behind that imam. What kind of innovations that nullifies Islam? If an imam says that the Prophet ﷺ in his grave controls the universe, this nullifies Islam, because the Prophet is dead ﷺ, and only Allah can control the universe. If someone says that it is permissible for me to go to the graves of awliya or peers or saints and slaughter to them and put candlelights and ask them for intercession or ask them to bring me good or to prevent me from harm, this is shirk, and this nullifies Islam. If the imam says you can wear amulets and you can seek refuge and call Tijani if you are in a crisis, or call al-Jilani or Sayyidina al-Badawi or al-Rifa'i or al-Shadhili or whatever, this is shirk. You cannot pray there. So if the imam is doing something that is an innovation, such as after every prayer he supplicates with the congregation, this is an innovation, but it does not nullify Islam. If he, after the adhan, offers the salutation to the Prophet in a loud voice, or invents a certain dhikr, this is innovation, but it doesn't nullify Islam. The kind of salutation she said, as-salatu al-nariyah, al-fatih lima ughliq, and the different types, all of this is Sufi type of salutations of the Prophet ﷺ, and it's all fabricated, it is all innovated, and it's bid'ah. But it doesn't reach to the level of nullifying a person's Islam. So your husband is requested to look around if there is a masjid that follows the Quran and Sunnah and not follows these so-called imams or so-called scholars. Yes, he has to go and pray there, because we have to stick with those who follow the Quran and Sunnah, because this is what the Prophet instructed us to do, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then she says that if a man and a husband live together in the same house with children, but they did not have any physical contact for 6 or 7 months, does this affect the marriage? The answer is no. Even if they don't have any physical contact for 10 years or 20 years, their marriage is still intact. The marriage is only affected when the man says the word of divorce, or the woman seeks for khul' and separation, or one of them dies. Then this affects, or one of them apostates and changes his religion from Islam to another religion, then the marriage is invalid. It becomes void. But for this problem of intimacy, they have to look for a Muslim, practicing Muslim marriage counselor who would sit with them and listen to them and try to solve their problems. Kamil from Saudi Arabia, she says, 1, she doesn't understand the meaning of saying the supplication before entering the toilet or the bathroom. We say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubthi wal-khaba'ith. I seek refuge in you from the devils, males and females. So she's saying that when the door is open, does this mean that the devils can come out, or should I protect my house and keep the door always closed? The answer is no. The house is protected by the supplication you say when you enter the house. So when you say Bismillah and you enter the house, then the devils cannot spend the night there. And if you eat and say Bismillah, the devils cannot share with you the food as well. The devils don't need you to keep the door closed to prevent them from entering, because they could care less about the walls and the doors. However, mentioning the name of Allah is what protects you. So whenever you enter the bathroom, you say, A'udhu billahi min khubthi wal khaba'ith. Before you take your clothes, you say Bismillah, because the Prophet told us it's a screen, it's a visor between our bodies and the eyesight of the jinn, to say Bismillah. The minute you say Bismillah, you become to them invisible and they're unable to see you. So whether you keep the door open or closed, it doesn't make any difference. It is a supplication, then dhikr you make in the house that protects you and your children. The second question was about the clothes women wear in front of other clothes. What is the awrah? What is the part of the body that should be concealed? Some schools of thought say that it is from the navel to the knee. And this is pathetic. This is ridiculous. Does this mean that women go to weddings and parties wearing only shorts? No one says this. And the most authentic opinion is that a woman in front of a woman, or a woman in front of her male mahrams, such as brothers, fathers, uncles, etc., she could only expose the parts that do not tempt anyone to his mahram, such as this area, the neck and the lower part of the neck, up to the arms, up to the biceps, for example. The back should be concealed. The legs up to the middle of the leg, up till the knee, this is okay, but some scholars say it should be below that. The face, the hair, all of this is permissible to expose. And these are the places where women usually adorn themselves with jewelry, etc. But to expose what we see nowadays in parties between women themselves, wearing dresses that are see-through or miniskirts or something that is so revealing and so disgusting. Yani, what are you doing? You find a beautiful woman in her 20s, mashallah, wearing a night dress that is something of a designer's dress, but it exposes her cleavage, her back, her thighs. It's so open to the middle of her thigh. Some even go to the waist. And they show off, wallahi, by the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. And this is happening. When you go to a party like this and you expose your beauty to the other and charm to the other women, wallahi, if one of them says, wow, look at that, and she gives you an evil eye, I know someone who is so beautiful and so charming, and she was boasting about it. She got an evil eye that she operated on herself 3 or 4 operations, and until today she's not well again, and she's young. Why? Because evil eye is true. So you do not you don't fear evil eye to the extent that you do not live normally, but at the same time you do not go out of your way and do haram and sin things, and then hope and pray for Allah's protection. So it is not permissible for women, especially in the Emirates, in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, in the Gulf area. I've heard this myself. Women who do not have Islam in their hearts, they usually come out in this fashion. And that is why most of us, we prevent our wives, we prevent our daughters, we prevent our sisters from attending such weddings. Weddings that declare we do not fear Allah Azza wa Jal. We are going to expose our bodies. We are going to expose our thighs, miniskirts, showing see-through clothes. We don't care. Allah is angry. They don't care. We prevent our families from hellfire and from attending such places. Now she's asking about the children. So what is she allowed to wear in front of her adult children? Of course, in front of her husband, she can wear whatever she wants. Or better more, if she doesn't wear anything that is even acceptable, alhamdulillah. But in front of the children, is she allowed to wear trousers, stretches, see-through, nightingales, etc.? No. Because adults may be tempted. And Allah Azza wa Jal is blocking all the means that lead to fahisha, that lead to something that may be sinful, and may take the person into a different stage, mindset. So you expose yourself and keep that only to your husband. Your male children, your male sons, you have to wear decent clothes in front of them. And then she says that what is the difference, or is there any difference in saying Ya Rabbi or Allahumma? These are all names of Allah Azza wa Jal. So if you supplicate with Ya Rabbi or Allahumma, it's the same. And what you should think of is including some of the beautiful names and attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal that are related to what you are supplicating for. So if you want Allah's forgiveness, it would be appropriate to say, Ya Rabbi, or Allahumma اغفر لي ذنبي, forgive my sins, إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. So you use the word Al-Ghafur, most forgiving, and Ar-Rahim, most merciful. This comes side by side. But if you had provisions, you would say, Allahumma irzuqni ya Razzaq ya Kareem. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, provide for me, because you are the provider and you are the generous. So these names and attributes should be selected in accordance to what you call Allah Azza wa Jal. But to me, Ya Rabbi and Allahumma is the same thing. And Amina, I apologize for pronouncing the name wrongly. She is asking if I understood her question, because she was cut off in the middle of the question. What I understood was that if a woman gives birth to a dead child, so a newborn is either dead in her womb before giving birth to it, or it comes out and comes out dead. So what is the ruling on that? The ruling is that all types of the living newborn is applied to that dead newborn, except for the inheritance, because he came out dead. So it is to be given a name. It is to be given a aqiqah if it's a boy, slaughtering 2 rams, if a girl 1 ram. It is to have this done on the 7th day of the birth. The child is to be washed, shrouded, and prayed upon, and buried in a cemetery with the other Muslims. So I pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that whomever has lost a child in such a fashion, that Allah Azza wa Jal would grant them tolerance and patience, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would reward them greatly for their patience, and that Allah Azza wa Jal would grant them much more pious, practicing, healthy children in the future. I'm afraid that this is all the time we have. Until we meet next time, fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance.